It's simple. If you want to be more successful than 99% of the people in the world, then you need to be willing to do what frankly 99% of the people in the world are just not willing to do. Now, I know this might sound obvious, but there's a bit of a meme going on where there's 100 videos a day posted on YouTube, all claiming to be able to teach you how not to be the 99%. And it turns out it's all the same crap you hear in every other video. Be disciplined, remove distractions, and something called monk mode. Are we serious right now, guys? Monk mode? And goals. That's right, goals. I mean, Bill Gates had goals, and that's why he is where he is today. My mailman has goals, my housekeeper has discipline, and everybody is trying to remove distractions. These things are not something that 99% of people are not doing. And monk mode, by the way, have you looked at the most successful people in the world? There is nothing monkish about their behavior at all. From Elon Musk smoking a blunt on Joe Rogan's podcast to Donald Trump breakdancing, literally breakdancing during a rally. Because let's be honest, if an action is common, i.e. you can go on YouTube and find 100 videos telling you exactly how to do it, then it's not going to make you more successful than 99% of people, because by definition, to be more successful than 99% of people, you need to be different than them. Right? Because if you were to do exactly what they did, then you would be exactly like them. Here's the harsh truth. When it comes to success, productivity hacks and morning routines, most of this stuff does not matter. In the first half of this video, I'm going to be explaining exactly what makes somebody more successful than 99% of people. But before we get too excited and need to change your underwear, in the second half of this video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly why you might not want to be more successful than 99% of people in the first place. Because like most important things in life, success is not that simple, and as a matter of fact, it's pretty complicated, so let's get into it. So, if you want to be more successful than 99% of people, you need to 1. Have a contrarian idea, 2. Be correct about that contrarian idea, and 3. Execute on it massively. And let's start with number 1. Most people don't actually have a contrarian idea for the entirety of their life, and if we're being honest, most people just go with the flow and follow whatever their friends say is cool for that week. But there is a significant minority within society who come up with crazy ideas and are willing to go against the grain. Which brings us to number 2. Out of the people who actually have contrarian ideas, the vast majority of them are going to be incorrect. And as a matter of fact, they're going to be terribly wrong. They're going to be horribly wrong. They're going to be embarrassingly wrong. And this is the most difficult part about being successful. You have to disagree with everybody and then be right. And even if by some slight chance you end up being right, you then need to be willing to execute on it and put your ass on the line. Now, when we look at super successful people, we tend to focus on the last part. What supplements did they take? What was their morning routine? Because execution is most easy to replicate and easy to observe. So although execution might be extremely important, it's not the thing that determines someone's magnitude of success. Steve Jobs was not Steve Jobs because he took cold showers and ate a banana a day to keep the doctor away. Steve Jobs was Steve Jobs because a decade before anyone else in the world, he believed that there would be a computer on every desk and in every office in the entire world. He had a contrarian idea and he was correct about it. Not only was he correct about it, but he executed on it. Warren Buffett goes to the McDonald's drive-thru every morning and gets the same terrible garbage breakfast every day that you and I look down on. How is he not dead yet? Warren Buffett is Warren Buffett because he was able to consistently identify companies that were extremely valuable that most people thought sucked. He then dumped some money in them, waited around for many years, had Coca-Cola and McDonald's, and now he's one of the most successful people in the world. Execution is super overrated. If I can do one thing that will 100x my results, then the other 99 things don't really matter. And most people don't like to hear this because it's extremely difficult to find that one thing that will 100x your results. So instead, we make silly YouTube videos about morning routines and cold showers, as if eating the same lunch that Kobe Bryant ate before games would make you play basketball anything like Kobe Bryant. Which, by the way, if you're wondering, was a slice of pepperoni pizza and a grape or orange soda. But if you're to look at the biggest breakthroughs throughout human history, you would find that they were all correct contrarian ideas, but a consistency amongst all of them was that at one point, people called them bat crazy. If you're hearing all this and don't believe me, then go out and meet 100 successful entrepreneurs. I guarantee they're not in the gym at 4:30 in the morning, and they're not meditating for 2.5 hours a day while taking a cold shower while reading a self-help book. Winston Churchill basically won World War II by sitting in a hot tub and drinking scotch all day. It's true, search it up. Or like Thomas Edison, he would famously work for days straight and sleep 1 hour a night in his lab. Do you know what his secret was? Right here. The good stuff. Speaking of cocaine, let's talk about the downside of extreme success. Why you might not actually want to be more successful than 99% of people. starting with number 1, everybody hates contrarians. I think a lot of people fantasize about extreme success because they believe it's going to bring them some type of validation that they never had. But unfortunately, the exact opposite usually is what happens. When I was a broke teenager and first getting into cryptocurrency, my parents did not understand it. And when I magically showed up one day with internet money, I'm pretty sure a lot of my family thought that I was a drug dealer. I wonder where they got that idea. You see, nobody really knew what cryptocurrency was back then. All they knew was that I was a broke kid and one day I turned up with a bunch of internet money, and I can see why they were skeptical. You have to understand that when you go from incorrect to a correct contrarian, it really messes with people's heads. And finally, and I guess the most important point in this video, is that extreme success is never gonna get you happiness. And in fact, success is actually just an amplifier. If you are a depressed, angry person, then with money, you will be even more depressed and even more angry. And if you have great relationships, with success, your relationships will only improve. If you just want enough money to buy a nice car and to spray a bottle of champagne on a girl in a bikini, then that can be arranged. I know a guy. Instead of asking yourself, how do I become more successful than 99% of people? Ask yourself, why do I want to become more successful than 99% of people? Now, before you run off and become an obscenely successful badass, make sure to take a moment and confirm to yourself whether or not you have the right definition of success for you. It'll help you get a lot further in life. All that being said, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like, and as always, I'll see you guys next time.